Good morning, boys and girls. I want to welcome you to another day of problem solving. And today we are going to solve some party problems that are using our change organizer because they're change problems. Either in the story, people have gotten some more, or in the story, some have gone away. Now, remember, what's different about these word problems is that the mystery number is no longer only at the end. It is in our change. And you are going to find on tomorrow's lesson that the change can even be in the beginning. And that's really going to throw us for a loop if we are not using our strip diagram. So today what I want to do is model side A for you. I want to do that thinking and I want you following along. You can work it on a sheet of paper next to you. If you like, side A is not due for a grade, but side B, when you're finished with the video, you'll need to open up in Cami and scroll all the way down to side B, and you'll need to make sure that that side is completed. So here we go. Solving party problems today. Yay! We're going to open with Cami. Moms and dads, if this is the first assignment you are doing with us, I'm afraid your child is really going to struggle. And I would highly recommend going back to the first lessons that we started last week, as these skills are progressive and they get a little bit harder with each lesson. So I would definitely recommend going back to the very first lesson and then the assignment and then working your way through. Okay, so we're going to find our drawing tools and we are going to go ahead and start with story one. I'm going to go ahead and draw my strip diagram and then we're going to get started. Here we go. Jack had 13 balloons. So I want you to picture Jack in your head. We're not counting all of the balloons in his head, but we are seeing that he's got a bunch of balloons. Some popped. Now he has 7 balloons. How many balloons popped? What was the action in this story? Well, if you were making a picture in your head, you should have seen a boy with some balloons and you should have seen some balloons going away because they were popping. And I don't know if you've ever seen a balloon pop, but they pop and they make a loud noise, and then the rest of the balloon that's empty falls on the ground, and usually it's all busted up. And then you should see that Jack still has some balloons. So the action was the actual popping. So let's go through and fill out our organizer. Jack had 13 balloons in the beginning of the story. So we're going to put 13 balloons at the start. Now, what happened to the balloons? Some popped. And that is going away. That is subtract. And because we don't know how many balloons popped, the mystery number goes here. If you put the ending, which was 7 balloons at the end, you put that 7 in the change and you put your mystery number there, those points will get counted off because the change was not 7 balloons. There was nothing about 7 balloons changing. It was about the popping. So you need to make sure you have your minus and your mystery number in this pot. And you need to make sure that you have 7 balloons at the end because that is how the story goes. And the question wants to know how many balloons popped. So let's take this information and put it on our organizer so we know whether we're adding or subtracting in the story. Are you ready? Jack had 13 balloons. Is that all of the balloons he had or part of the balloons? Well, in the story, he did not get more balloons. So the 13 balloons that he had, that's all he had. The balloons that popped, is that all he had or part of what he had? Well, since I know there were balloons still left at the end, I'm going to say the balloons that popped were just part. They did not all pop. And then the 7 balloons at the end is what he had left over, and that's also part. Now, because I'm looking for the missing part, this is a subtract pattern because the only time I add is when I'm looking for the whole. And so we are going to write a subtraction problem. We're going to start with a whole and we're going to subtract the part. And we are going to use our touch points to help us do this. When I subtract, I touch the first number, say its name, and count back on the other number. Here we go. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Excellent job. So there were 6 balloons that got popped in that story. All right, let's move on to number 2. I'm going to change out my, I kind of like the green. I'm going to go ahead and leave that green strip over there. And I'm going to use a different color for number 2. Here we go. It says Kim had 8 presents. Her grandparents brought 3 more. How many presents does Kim have now? So in my head, I saw Kim with some presents and I watched her grandparents drive up. They got out of the car and they had presents in their arms and they brought her some more. And now I want to know, how many presents does she have? So let's fill this out. This sounds kind of like the problems we did at the beginning of our unit, doesn't it? I love that. So we've got, in the beginning, Kim had 8 presents, and then her grandparents brought more. That was the change. Kim getting more was the change. And because she got more, that's an adding change. And she got 3 more. So that 3 goes in that change box. And we are looking for how many presents that Kim has now, or at the end of our story. So let's put these on the organizers, make sure that what operation we're doing. The 8 presents that Kim had in the beginning, was that all she had or part of what she had? Well, in the story, since she got 3 more, the 8 presents was part of what she had. The 3 presents that her grandparent brought were also part of what she had because she started the story with some presents. And so we are looking for how many presents she has now, which means we're looking for the whole. Boys and girls, the only time I add is when I'm looking for the whole. So I'm going to add 8 plus 3, and I'm going to use my organizer to help me. And my touch points, when I add, I touch the biggest number, say its name, and count up on the other number. 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 is how many presents Kim had at the end of the story. Scrolling down to number 3, and the last one that we are going to do together, let's go ahead and draw our organizer. And let's think about this story. It says, Mia had 15 cupcakes for the party. She gave 8 of her cupcakes to her friends. How many cupcakes does she have now? In my head, I see Mia at her party and I see her with a bunch of cupcakes in front of her. And I see that she gave some of those cupcakes out to her friends. And so when I look down at the tray that had the cupcakes on there, there aren't as many as there were before. So the cupcakes are definitely going away. Let's fill out our organizer. So in the beginning, Mia had 15 cupcakes. And it says she gave 8 cupcakes to her friends. Well, when I give something away, it goes away. And 8 is the number that went away. And so we are looking for how many cupcakes there are at the end. So the 15 cupcakes that Mia had in the beginning, were those all the cupcakes she had or part of what she had? Well, boys and girls, if she gave cupcakes away, the 15 is all she had. And the 8 cupcakes that she gave away was actually part of the 15 because it wasn't all of it. There were some left. And the some that are left is also part of the 15 that she started with. So because we're looking for the missing part, it is a subtract pattern, which matches our story for today. So we've got 15, which is the whole, subtract the part, and that's going to give us the other part. Here we go. Let's do our subtracting. When I subtract, I touch the first number, say its name, and count back on the other number. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. So Mia had 7 cupcakes at the end of her story. Boys and girls, if you did this on paper and you are following along with me, that's perfect. Side A is not the side that I'm grading. But rather, when you get into Kami, whether or not you do this with me on video, it's really fine. I need you to scroll down to version B. And you are going to get credit for doing story problems 1, 2, and 3. And you must put your number trees on all of the problems. If I don't see that number tree, chances are you are not going to get all of your points. And not only that, more importantly, it is going to cause you to do the wrong operation. And that's just really frustrating. We don't want you to be frustrated, right? Thankfully, number 2 and 3 were not as difficult as number 1. Now, tomorrow is going to be lesson 4 in this particular unit, and it is the hardest lesson, and the problems will be a little bit tougher. I'm going to send out an email and an assignment, because after lesson 4, on Monday, next Monday, will be a graded assignment, but then on Tuesday, I am going to be doing individual interviews so we can get progress monitoring on this unit done. Now, that said, if you are a student who has not completed any other work, I will not be scheduling your progress monitoring until all of that work is completed and submitted to me. All right? I want you to have a great day. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.